How we doing, everyone? How's it going? Welcome to the first official live stream of the season. The Dodgers, they pick up the victory today. Now, although they're now 2-1 on the year, we're not counting those games from last week. Today was the true opening day. The Dodgers are 1-0 in my book, but again, according to the standings, they're 2-1. It was a great victory over the St. Louis Cardinals. They essentially dominated from start to finish. 7-1 is the final score. We're going to be talking about the game today. We're going to be talking about what we saw from Tyler Glasnow, what we saw from the Dodgers offense, and a whole lot more. So if you're tuning in right now, welcome to the live stream. We're going to be doing a lot of these during the season. I'm not exactly certain how many streams we're going to be doing. I don't know if it's going to be a weekly thing, doing them at the end of every series, but I want to do as many streams as I can during the year. So if you guys are new here, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. That way, every time I go live, follow me in a game, or whenever I post a video, you guys can get notified and you guys can hop in. And again, we're going to be going for the next 15 to 20 minutes. If you guys have any thoughts on the game at all, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know in that live chat. We're going to be talking everything from today's Dodgers Cardinals victory, what your takeaways were, what your favorite moments were. Again, anything you guys want to hear from me about, let me know in that live chat. I'll get to as many of you as I can. But yeah, 7-1. This game really was over at the end of the first inning. I mean, the Dodgers, they jumped ahead and they didn't really look back. I mean, the Cardinals, their only chance in this game was when they were hitting in the top of the first. And Tyler Glasnow, he looked good. And he's where I want to start today because Tyler Glasnow made his Dodger Stadium debut. Didn't look all that great last week to open the season, but I'm not going to worry too much about that one. This was the first game in the States for him. And overall, boy, 6 innings, allowed one earned run, which came off a home run, 2 hits, 5 strikeouts, 1 walk. Essentially, if your name was not Paul Goldschmidt, you suck today if you were on the Cardinals. Paul Goldschmidt, I believe, is like the only one that did anything for the Cardinals on offense today. So outside of him, everyone else was shut down from Tyler Glasnow. Still didn't look as dominant as he did to kind of close spring training. Again, only 5 strikeouts. Did have a lot of swing and miss stuff. My biggest takeaway from Tyler Glasnow today was the fact he had only 1 walk, because last week I think he had 4 walks. Didn't have any command whatsoever, but he looked a lot better today. So Tyler Glasnow, if his version of an off day is having only 5 strikeouts, allowing only a couple hits to one guy, yeah, sign me up. I'll take that any day of the week because I think this is a guy that could win the Cy Young if he's able to turn things around, if he's able to stay healthy. And this is going to be a guy the Dodgers are going to turn to as their number one option in the starting rotation moving forward. So overall, I thought it was a really, really solid outing for Tyler Glasnow, bouncing back from that outing last week, looking really good today, and picking him up because the Dodgers only needed 2 pitchers today. The Dodgers only needed 2 pitchers in this one, so Tyler Glasnow was able to give them 6 innings. He probably could have given them a seventh inning. I'm looking at it right now. He did have 81 pitches, so I could see why the Dodgers were being a little cautious with him. But in all honesty, he probably could have gone out there for the seventh inning. But Ryan Yarbrough, he comes in to close things out. He goes 3 innings, officially gets the save. And Ryan Yarbrough, this is a guy I feel like a lot of Dodgers fans kind of have been sleeping on ever since he was acquired. He has been fantastic for the Dodgers in like the Ross Stripling kind of role that Stripling played all those years ago. 3 innings out of the bullpen was great. I think he allowed only 1 hit in those 3 innings. Didn't allow a walk, was nearly perfect, looked fantastic, was throwing a couple of nice 69-mile-an-hour pitches. But this is a guy for the Dodgers who's going to be insanely valuable in 2024 because not only is he going to be able to give you a spot start whenever you need it, you can use him in games like this where your starting pitcher goes 6 innings, maybe goes 7 innings, and you can bring him in to close the game. So your Ryan Yarbrough comes in. The Dodgers don't have to use any other bullpen arm. Their bullpen is going to be fresh for the next 3 games in this series. I mean, at this point, they were already fresh considering they've had so much time off, but having Ryan Yarbrough come in, give them those 3 innings when they needed it most, that's absolutely massive. So Ryan Yarbrough, shout out to you. A 3 inning save, our first of the year. And hey, if anyone out there got any action on Dodger props for the season, and you took a very, very nice wager on Ryan Yarbrough to lead the team in saves, or maybe Ryan Yarbrough to have the first save. Well, I guess technically, again, Evan Phillips did get the save, but we're not going to count those. We're counting this one right now. Cash those Ryan Yarbrough first save of the season tickets. And again, if you guys are tuning in right now, hit me up in the live chat. Let me know what your thoughts were from today's game. Let me know what your biggest takeaways were. If you have any questions or comments from the game today, let me know. We'll get to as many of those as we can during this live stream. And of course, if you're new to the channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. A lot of great Dodgers content coming all season long. And also don't forget to drop a like on this video as well. It does help out the video. It does help out with that confusing YouTube algorithm that absolutely nobody knows about. It helps share with other Dodgers fans. So make sure to drop a like and hit that subscribe button. Here we go right here. I'll see you at the parade. Yeah, if the Dodgers look anything like they did today, we should be having a parade in November. Now, I will say, when Freddie Freeman hit that home run early on, I was saying, this is great and all, but I need to see it in October. I need to see it in October. But some of the Dodgers today, I mean, my goodness, let's just start at the top of the lineup, because these are the guys that are going to be in the MVP conversation. These are the guys that are going to be probably starting in the All-Star game this summer. But Mookie Betts, he reaches base 3 times, scores 3 runs, hits his second home run of the season. Shohei Ohtani reaches base 3 times, has 2 hits. And Freddie Freeman reaches base 3 times as well, drives in 3 runs, hits his first home run of the season. So between the top 3 guys, we have 5 hits and 4 walks. They reach base 9 total times between all those guys. 9 times. Now, obviously, Mookie Betts, Shohei Ohtani, Freddie Freeman, they're not going to be reaching base 9 times a game moving forward. In typical Dodgers fashion, they're probably going to reach base a combined 2 times tomorrow because we're saying this. But if the Dodgers lineup at the top, the top 3 guys, if they're going, I don't know how you're going to beat this team, because you have 3 of the best hitters in all of baseball. Having one of them have a bad game is asking for a lot. Having 2 of them is asking for a ton. Having 3 of them, that's probably not going to happen. So anytime these 3 are going, we saw today, 7 runs. And it really feels like the Dodgers scored those 7 runs, and for the most part, they kind of just took their foot off the gas. They didn't do a whole lot. Those 7 runs really just happened in the blink of an eye. So if those guys are going, and then you have the bottom half of this lineup doing what they do like they did today, I'm telling you, this Dodgers offense, it honestly could be the best offense we've ever seen. I did an article today. Shout out, you can go find it on my Substack page. Go over to my Twitter where I gave my bold predictions for the Dodgers 2024 season. And one of my bold predictions was that the Dodgers would set the all-time home runs record. Not the single season Dodgers record, the all-time home run record in baseball. Now, they got a long way to go. I think the record is 307, which the Braves hit last year. They actually tied with the Twins from a couple years ago. I think this Dodgers team, I'm thinking that they can hit that number. So I see a couple of people in here in the live chat, which again, if you're just tuning in, hit me up in the live chat. We're going to be talking about the game, your biggest takeaways, and all that kind of stuff. We got to talk about this, Miles Mikolas. If you guys remember from, I want to say this was a couple of weeks ago, I'm looking right now, 2 weeks ago, for some reason, Miles Mikolas, of all people, called out the Dodgers. I don't have the tweet to show on the screen, but I'm going to read it up in case anyone out there missed it. But a couple weeks ago, Mikolas was asked about opening the season against the Dodgers, and he said, "We're not exactly a low payroll team, but you got the Dodgers playing checkbook baseball. We're going to be the hardest working group of Midwestern farmers we can be. It would be great to stick it to the Dodgers." Now, after seeing that tweet a couple weeks ago, everyone on Dodgers Twitter, they got a hold of it. They were clowning on him because, I mean, I could see if it was like a Giants player, maybe a Padres player that was talking shit. But for a player on the Cardinals, who, first of all, I guess looks like a farmer, but I think is making like $17 million a year, not exactly certain why you're calling out the Dodgers for spending money. But anyway, everyone bookmarked that tweet. I mean, as of right now, I think it has like a couple thousand bookmarks or something like that. And in fitting fashion, everyone was waiting to see this start, mainly for the Dodgers, but to see how Miles Mikolas would do, to see if he would back up that statement from a couple weeks ago. Well, he did not do that at all. 4 1/3 innings, 5 earned runs, 7 hits, 2 walks. Yeah, Miles Mikolas, you might be a hard-working Midwestern farmer, but today, those paycheck Dodgers, whatever you want to call them, they lit you up. They lit you up, and it was fantastic. I mean, overall, could you have asked for a better outing? Having a Dodgers victory is great, but having him say what he did a couple of weeks ago, and then having him just drop this amazing, amazing quote that was just bulletin board material, fantastic. I mean, there has to be one Dodger player out there that saw this quote. There has to be. With how social media is, there's no way that the entire team did not see this. Now, I'm not certain if the Dodger players were pissed about it. I mean, if you're making millions of dollars, maybe that doesn't get down to you, but all I know is if I saw this, I'd want to do everything in my power to light this dude up. So Miles Mikolas, first start of the year, I think his ERA is above 10 right now. I want to say something like that. So I just thought that was fantastic. I thought that was fantastic. It makes the win that much sweeter, seeing the Dodgers just completely make him eat his words. Now, as of right now, I don't think there's been any post-game pressers from any of the players. I'm not exactly certain what Miles Mikolas is going to say. I wish I'd be able to tune into that live right now to see what he'd be saying, because I don't know what his excuse is going to be, because he looked horrible. So who knows? Maybe he comes out and he says, yeah, turns out those guys are the real deal. That's what happens when you spend money. I'm personally hoping that he doubles down and he just goes and he says, yeah, no, we are still Midwest farmers. We're going to get him tomorrow. Please, Miles Mikolas, if you're out there, have something that just makes it even better. So if you guys are tuning in right now, again, you guys can drop a comment in the live chat. Let me know what your takeaways are from this game. Let me know if you have any comments, questions, concerns after this game. Like I mentioned earlier at the beginning of the stream, this is the first game of the season. We're not counting those 2 games from last week. So although the Dodgers are technically 2-1 for today's purposes, we're going to say that they're 1-0. But a couple other takeaways from this game. I thought Will Smith and Max Muncy, they had a couple of really good at-bats. James Outman finished with a couple of hits. My only concern, I guess you should say, with this Dodgers lineup, it's really tough to have a concern when this might be the best offense in all of baseball this year. We saw it during spring training. We kind of saw it last week. We saw it today. My only concern is going to be the bottom of this lineup. Now, I've talked about Jason Hayward a couple times, this offseason. I am glad the Dodgers brought him back. Personally, I would have preferred Jason Hayward to come back as like a bench piece, kind of like what Chris Taylor, Kike Hernandez are, guys that aren't going to be getting everyday starts. I know that Jason Hayward had a great season last year. I think it was like the 4th highest OPS, WRC plus of his career, had an OPS above 800. It was a great year from Jason Hayward. I was a little worried bringing him back, again, as a starter. If he was a bench piece, I'd be okay with it. But as a starter, I am a little concerned with Jason Hayward. I know that a lot of people say the spring numbers don't make any difference. They're not important. But Jason Hayward had a horrible spring. He had a lot of horrible at-bats, and he looked pretty bad at the plate today. So again, it's so early. I mean, the sample size is maybe 50 at-bats over the last couple of weeks or so. Jason Hayward hasn't looked ideal so far. And speaking of Jason Hayward not looking great at the plate, Gavin Lux, I know there was a comment earlier. Someone asked about Gavin Lux. What do we do with him? He has not looked great this spring as well. A couple of days ago, I think when they were in Anaheim, in a Twitter group chat I'm in, I sent a message saying that Gavin Lux doesn't have an extra base hit all spring. Doesn't have an extra base hit all spring. And of course, in fitting fashion, he hits a home run in his next at bat, because the power of the jinx that I have is absolutely crazy. But Gavin Lux, I know his average has been there this spring. I think he ended up hitting like 270 or so this spring. But the OPS, I think, was like at 600. And so far this year, through 3 games that have counted, Gavin Lux hasn't looked great as well. If the average is there for Gavin Lux, that's going to be okay, I guess, if he ends up hitting 260 for you. But if he's just giving you a bunch of singles, that does worry me just a little. I guess if he is hit 9th, he's going to be on base a lot for the top of the lineup. So at the end of the day, his value might just be hitting 260, just giving you a bunch of singles, walking every now and then. That's going to be great. But I would like to see some sort of power from Gavin Lux at some point. I mean, through, again, 50 or 60 at-bats, I don't know how many at-bats he has this spring, he essentially looks like D. Gordon at the plate. Maybe D. Gordon had more power. So I am a bit concerned there, because again, you have Jason Hayward and Gavin Lux. They're hitting 8th. They're hitting 9th. Those are 2 guys where I'm just not that excited for them. But with how deep this Dodgers lineup is, with how top heavy they are 1 through 7, I guess you can afford to have a couple of guys at the bottom of the lineup that may be struggling a bit. And like I mentioned with Gavin Lux as well, if he hits 260, I mean, in the 80s and the 90s, that was valuable. That was valuable having a guy that can do that. But you need a guy now that's going to at least give you some sort of power. But if he's on base for those guys at the top of the lineup, I'll allow it. So I'm just a little bit concerned with Jason Hayward and Gavin Lux. I'm sure they're going to turn things around. I'm sure by the time May rolls around, they're going to have WRC pluses at above 100 or so. They're going to be above league average hitters. Just what I've seen at the plate from them for about 4 to 5 weeks now, I just haven't been too impressed. I haven't been too excited. But again, plenty of time. And if that's the Dodgers' number one problem, because Jason Hayward and Gavin Lux are hitting just slightly above league average or slightly below league average, they have like a 90 WRC plus. I think that's going to be okay. My man Alvin is in here. Senor Blake, going all the way back to Arcadia High School. I passed Spanish somehow. I don't know how. He can attest to this. I did the impossible. But hey, because of that, I am Senor Blake. He wants to know thoughts on Mookie Betts' play today in the infield. Overall, I thought Mookie did okay. He had a couple of nice plays. He did have a pretty bad error midway through the game. I don't know what inning it was. It was not that difficult of a play. Now, it wasn't like a routine play by any means. He definitely had to do a little to make the play, but it was an awful throw to first base. Now, he was on the run. I don't know how many other shortstops out there make the play. It's definitely a play he should have made, but it wasn't an ideal move. But overall, I thought Mookie Betts looked fine. We have to remember he only has, I think, like what, 8 to 10 games at shortstop so far this spring. He's still trying to get all those reps in for the most part. So for Mookie, overall this spring, since we've seen him at shortstop, I haven't been too worried or too concerned. And like I mentioned, he did have an error today, but for those out there that watched the game, it was kind of a difficult play. It's a play that he should have made, but I'm not going to fault him too much because it was a little difficult. So it's going to be interesting to see how he does moving forward, because this is going to be a position that's going to be pretty taxing on him, and it's going to be a position the Dodgers are going to ask him to play for a solid amount. So you don't want to see an error on the first day. But again, the sample size we've seen from him so far over the last 3 weeks or so, I think Mookie is going to be just fine. I did see someone mention it earlier, so I'm going to pull it up here again, saying Teoscar Hernandez looking not so good. Teoscar Hernandez got off to a really hot start this spring. I mean, through the first couple of weeks, he was looking really good. He has kind of cooled off a little bit over the last couple of weeks, and I think so far to start the season, again, small sample size, it's been 3 games, but he is hitting 167, has an OPS of 536. He had 3 strikeouts today. There was someone earlier, I think, that mentioned that Teoscar Hernandez is probably going to lead the Dodgers in strikeouts, and I think that's going to be the case. But again, if he's your number 6 hitter, he's given you 25 home runs. He's given you an OPS around 800 or so. I think it's going to be just fine. So yeah, he has cooled off just a little. His strikeout numbers are going to be there, but this is a guy that has MVP votes in the past. He's been an all-star, probably the best number 6 hitter in all of baseball. I don't know what the Atlanta Braves lineup is looking like right now, so they might be in the running for best number 6 hitter in baseball, depending on what they're shuffling. But Teoscar Hernandez is going to be the best number 6 hitter in baseball. The Dodgers can afford to have him kind of struggling a little right now. 3 strikeouts isn't ideal, I will say that, but he did have an RBI double today, did look good there, has a couple of big hits so far this spring, so give it a little more time for Teoscar to turn things around, because again, this is a guy that's proven he can be a guy that hits 25 to 30 home runs, that posts an OPS above 800. I'm expecting a lot from Teoscar. The strikeouts are going to be there. We did know that when the Dodgers signed him. We knew that he was one of the higher strikeout rate hitters in all of baseball the last couple of years. So I'm not too concerned because we were expecting that. I just want him to see at least make some more contact and get that OPS up a little, because again, through 3 games, it's sitting at 536. That's not ideal. That's not ideal. Again, if you guys are just tuning in right now, first and foremost, make sure to hit that subscribe button if you're brand new here. Building the channel from the ground up. We'd love to see you guys subscribe, join in. Lots of great Dodgers content coming all season long. So if you're a Dodgers fan, well, first off, if you're watching this video, I assume you're a Dodgers fan, but make sure to subscribe. Lots of great content coming all season long. Helps the channel grow. So make sure to do that. And also drop a like on this video as well. And if there's anything from today's game you'd love to hear my thoughts on, any takeaways, any things that you guys noticed you want to hear, let me know in the live chat. I'll be going live for the next 5 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes. I'll be answering all your guys' questions, talking about all things Dodgers. So hit me up in that live chat. There's no such thing as a bad question. As hard as that is to believe, there's no such thing. Will not judge you. So again, anything you got in the live chat, let me know. I've said and will maintain that Mookie Betts will end up in the top 5 in Gold Glove voting. He excels at anything with a ball. This I agree with. I mean, Mookie Betts, we've already seen him win however many Gold Gloves out there in right field. He's one of the best outfielders in all of baseball. By coming into second base, one of my hot takes I had a couple months ago, I guess, when Mookie Betts was going to be the everyday second baseman, was that Mookie Betts was going to be a Gold Glove winner at second base. Now, obviously, we're not going to be able to see that this year. He's going to be sliding over to shortstop. He does have some competition at the position, but Mookie Betts, the athlete that he is, with how good he is at baseball, I wouldn't be surprised if he's a Gold Glove finalist at shortstop this year. Now, certainly today, that's not going to help his case. Already has an error, had some shaky plays, so a long way to go. But yeah, Mookie, if he's a Gold Glove finalist at shortstop at the end of the year, I wouldn't be surprised. And I don't think anyone would be surprised. And I think that'd be awesome. I mean, I don't know out there if anyone's done it. Has anyone out there won a Gold Glove in the outfield and in the infield? I mean, I don't know if that's something anyone can just Google quickly, but if I were to guess, the answer is going to be no. So Mookie Betts, he has a chance to make some history in regards to that front. Who's the next starting pitcher going to be? This was actually pretty interesting that the Dodgers did a couple days ago. Now, to start the season, it was Tyler Glasnow in Game 1, Yoshinobu Yamamoto in Game 2, and I think a lot of people expected that was going to be the rotation to start the year stateside, but it turns out they're going to switch the rotation up just a little. It's actually going to be Bobby Miller that's going to be going tomorrow in Game 2. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to be going in Game 3. So I'm not certain if the Dodgers, if that's going to be the rotation moving forward for the rest of the season, if they just wanted to give Yamamoto a little more rest after that outing last week. I'm not entirely sure, but I got no issue with it. Personally, I don't care what the rotation looks like, especially in April. If you want to have Yamamoto as your number 3 starter, I think that would be okay. But yeah, so Bobby Miller, he's going to be the number 2 guy. Yamamoto is going to be the number 3 guy. And then I think the way things are turning right now, I think they officially announced it. It looks like Gavin Stone is going to be the number 4 starter. And it looks like James Paxton is going to be the number 5 starter. So there you go. Bobby Miller tomorrow. We do have to wait another day for Yamamoto, but I got no issues with it. Hey, Bobby Miller, number 2 season. Here we come. Jack comes in here. Shohei still looks good and undistracted. It's really incredible, all the stuff this guy's been going through. I mean, it's unnecessary. I mean, I believe everything Shohei Ohtani said, but having to deal with this, on an international level where everyone is talking about you in the sports world, he comes out today, looks great in all of his plate appearances, has a double, should have been a triple. Dino should have set Mookie. I get why he didn't. Should have been a triple. And then I think he had a single that I believe was 113 miles an hour off the bat. I did see a tweet out there that it was the hardest hit ball by the Dodgers, I think since 2019. Again, I don't have the tweet in front of me. It came and it went. But I think that was the hardest hit ball by a Dodger over the last 5 years. And Shohei Ohtani did it in his first game at Dodger Stadium. So, yeah, Shohei, he's going through it, but he looks damn good at the plate. Just imagine when he's able to get things going officially when this is all put behind him. I mean, that dude is just going to be putting up insane numbers. I mean, what are his numbers through the first 3 games so far of the year? He's hitting 385. I mean, Shohei's dealing with all this stuff and hitting 385. What's he going to be doing when this distraction's behind him? Yeah, Ryan here. I mentioned this earlier, but in case you're just tuning in right now, as expected, the hard-working farmers have been beaten by a real baseball team. LOL, Mikolas. Yeah, Miles Mikolas said that they're hardworking Midwestern farmers over there, and the Dodgers are just playing checkbook baseball. 4 1/3 innings, 5 earned runs, I think, 7 hits. You just love to see it. I mean, how good? How good is that? You love to see it. Thank you, Miles Mikolas. Thank you for that. Also, shout out to Malcolm here. I think Darren Erstad got a Gold Glove as a first baseman and a center fielder. Hey, if that's the case, Mookie Betts can join some elite company. If you're joining Darren Erstad in the record books, you're doing something right. You're doing something right. Again, if you guys are just tuning in right now, make sure to hit me up in that live chat. We got about 5 or 10 minutes to go, so I want to answer all your Dodgers questions, talk all things from today's game. Trey says, so where does Walker Buehler is going to be back quicker than we thought? Yeah, this came out from Dave Roberts' little scrum today, and it sounds like Walker Buehler is really trending in the right direction. It sounds like he could potentially go on a rehab assignment maybe as early as next week. I don't have the full quote in front of me, but it sounds like Walker Buehler is going to be back sooner than a lot of us expected. Me personally, I was putting the over under at like May 1st at the absolute minimum. Like, I didn't think we'd see him in April at all. I mean, there's still a chance we don't see him in April. He still has to actually appear in live games. He might be there for a couple of weeks, so we'll have to wait and see. But this is great news because I was thinking Walker Buehler is going to be out till at least middle-ish, endish May, maybe a chance at June, depending on how things go. So the fact that Walker Buehler sounds like he's ahead of schedule, he's looking really, really good. Now, I will say this as a caution. This is Dave Roberts we're talking about. If everyone out there knows Dave Roberts, it's that he's not one of the best when it comes to injury news. He'll say a guy's doing just fine, and then all of a sudden he's out for a couple of months. I mean, with Emmett Sheehan like a month ago, he was like, "Oh, Emmett Sheehan, he threw a bullpen to Shohei Ohtani, just a little sore. We're going to shut him down for a day or two." And the dude's been out for a month, so I get it. I'm excited about the Walker Buehler news, but I'm going to take this with a slight grain of salt because it is Dave Roberts who's given us the news. But hey, if Walker Buehler is able to return by early to middle May, he's the number 5 starter. Just watch out. Just watch out. Thank God I drafted Tyler Glasnow. Yeah, thank God you did, because he's probably the best pitcher on your fantasy baseball team right now. Again, in case you guys missed it, 6 innings, 1 earned run, only 2 hits, both of which came against Paul Goldschmidt, and 5 strikeouts. He looked solid today. He's only going to get better. So Tyler Glasnow, I'm really, really looking forward to seeing him in the starting rotation, being the Dodgers ace moving forward. If lights out Bobby Miller comes, it is over. That's the thing that a lot of people are also, I think, sleeping on in regards to this entire Dodgers super team, is that Bobby Miller, I guess because there were so many young, talented pitchers in baseball right now, I feel like Bobby Miller isn't being talked up enough as one of the better young starters in all of baseball. He was fantastic for the Dodgers last year in his debut year, and this is a guy I think has number 1 ace potential. Certainly he could be a number 2 and a number 3 for a bunch of other teams. But I think Bobby Miller, I think his ceiling is being the ace of a starting rotation, and in a rotation that already features Glasnow. It features Yamamoto. Buehler is going to be coming back. Kershaw is going to be coming back. Bobby Miller might be the forgotten guy, but if he goes out there and he posts Cy Young caliber numbers, I don't think many Dodgers fans are going to be too surprised, because this is a guy that has shown he's capable, at least coming up through the minors, that he has some really, really nasty stuff. So if Bobby Miller is able to be that go-to guy at the number 2, at the number 3 spot, again, whatever the Dodgers do with their starting rotation, we'll have to wait and see. But if he's able to be that guy that can be that solid number 2 or number 3 starter, man, it's this Dodgers rotation is really, really, really going to be filthy. So we'll have to wait and see. Let's just see. This is something I kind of want to mention briefly, and we'll kind of wrap things up after this. I am scared for Yamamoto. The last couple of outings haven't been great for Yamamoto. Last week he got lit up against the Padres, and then in his final spring trading outing, he got absolutely lit up. Now, if you look at his sample size over the course of, his 4 or 5 starts that he's made, the numbers aren't necessarily all that encouraging, but if you watch the games, you would know how many times Yamamoto's defense screwed him up. He had a couple of plays that didn't go the defense's way, and they should have been errors. They were ruled hits. Now, his last start was probably his worst of the entire spring so far. Didn't look great, but it was one start. I mean, he's had 2 bad outings. This is a guy that is coming over to the States for the first time. Now, I know a lot of us were kind of hoping he would come in and he would just shove right away. I mean, I was hoping that he would shove right away. We kind of saw that early on in spring, but I don't think that was a realistic expectation. There are going to be some learning curves for this guy. Now, if it's June and Yamamoto's ERA is like at 5, then I think we can worry just a little. I think we can start being a little bit concerned. But again, it's been a couple of outings. And as Chris says right here, Yamamoto is going to be a Rookie of the Year finalist. I have Yamamoto winning the Rookie of the Year. I did one of my bold prediction articles today, and one of my bold predictions was they would have a Rookie of the Year winner, which would be Yamamoto. Now, maybe Gavin Stone, Kyle Hurd, they answer that conversation. But I think at the end of the day, Yamamoto is still going to be the best rookie in all of baseball this year. I think he still has a chance to be in the Cy Young conversation. So, as Jack says here as well, just have to give Yamamoto a little bit of time to adjust. Pitchers don't get as much time in the field as fielders. He'll be okay. Yamamoto will be okay. Like I said, We'll have this conversation in June if he's still struggling. But if Yamamoto comes out on Saturday, he gives the Dodgers 6 innings, strikes out 8, allows 1 run. We'll be back. We won't have any concerns. But that does wrap it up for today's live stream. Thank you to everyone that hopped in here. Again, if you guys haven't done so yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button, turn on those notifications. A lot of great Dodgers content coming all season long. We're going to be doing a bunch of these live streams during the year as well, so I'd love to interact with as many of you guys as possible. So have those notifications on so when we go live, you guys can hop in the live chat and we can talk Dodgers again. Make sure to follow me on Twitter at Blake H. Harris. I'm also on Instagram at Blake H. Harris as well. Drop a comment, leave a like, help support the channel. This was a lot of fun. Dodgers are 2-1. I think they're officially in first place. I don't know if any of the other records have, or any of the other games have gone in. So maybe there's a couple of 1-0 teams in there. But Dodgers are in first place. They're going to be just fine. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I really appreciate it. Looking forward to seeing you guys in the next stream, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your day, wherever you may be.